Hello, my darling. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel where I do card readings from my heart to yours. I am just sitting here and I'm tuning in and meditating and just speaking to my guides and asking what today's topic should be on. And the answer I received was health. Now, health can actually cover so many different areas in our life, if it's physical health, mental, emotional, spiritual, our overall wellness. So I'm not exactly sure what is going to be said along the lines of health, but what I can start by saying is I am by no means an absolute professional. I am just here to deliver helpful messages that will encourage you in a positive way along your path. So if anything does come up that has you second guess or question, or if you feel like your own intuition is being validated through this reading, I do encourage you to reach out to a professional, reach out to someone who can hear you, talk to a friend, talk to a family member, but then take that leap and talk to someone who actually specializes in the area that you could use a little bit of added support in. I am going to go ahead. I will pause this video, go grab some cards, and we will have 3 piles to choose from when I come back. So to start this reading, we're going to create 3 different piles to choose from. I'm just going to go ahead and lightly shuffle those. Let's break up the deck. And the first card is the Hermit. Our second pile is the Page of Pentacles. And our third pile will be the Knight of Cups. Tuning into your intuition here, feeling into which card you would like to follow or which card you would like to dive deeper in. You might find that there's a couple of different piles here for you today. Wherever it is that you are led, just trust that that is the perfect choice for you. If you have chosen pile number 1 with the Hermit, we are going to start with the tarot, but let's just have a look at this card and see what's coming through. When it comes to the Hermit, we understand that this is a message of going within, of retreating and taking time to get really, really quiet with yourself and start contemplating a little bit more on the things that you want to make a change in, or the things that you can start doing different decisions around in order to break free of possibly patterns or habits that are currently happening in your life. Now, the interesting thing about the Hermit in this card is it's almost as if this person is wearing Joseph's Technicolor dream coat. I'm being brought to the story in the Bible where Joseph is shunned out of the family. Joseph happened to be the favorite son. Joseph had many siblings, and the siblings didn't really take to Joseph being the favorite. Joseph was then pushed down into a well and later sold to bring him to a different land. When Joseph was brought to a different land, he was also able to share messages from God. The story around Joseph that really wants to come through is the fact that he was taken away from his family. The Hermit not only asks us to get quiet from ourselves, but I also feel like Joseph was brought to my attention because he didn't only have an opportunity to go within for himself, but he was really taken away and out of his comfort zone. And so maybe that's what this phase is really asking you to do, or this next part of your life, is to break away from people or situations or just environments that you're extremely comfortable in, so that you can give yourself the space needed to meditate and to get curious and to ask more questions as to what is right for you. I'm hearing and understanding that the environment you're currently in is also dictating a lot of your actions right now, a lot of the things that you're doing, the things that you're consuming, if that is what you're eating, if it's what you're watching, the way that you react or I suppose just act in general when maybe challenges come up or conversations happen. There's something right now about breaking free from the familiar so that you can really go within and understand who you are and what your needs are more clearly. I just have a heater going. Okay, so let's just see what else the tarot has. This card came out. Oh, and as soon as that heater turned off, it was almost as if so much more peace settled into the room. So there could be something about once you get out of this environment, or once you switch things up and start going from within, you're really going to discover more peace. A lot of heated discussions or heated tension inside of the environment, maybe in the home or the workplace, wherever it is you are, this could dissipate. It could just automatically stop, right? It's like pressing that off button just in order to receive that peace, to receive the peace and quiet, to just have time to yourself in order to get clear on what it is your soul is trying to communicate to you. This is so interesting. I'm going to talk about this too. I've shuffled this deck a couple of times, and so when I go through cards and when I am asked to gather cards for readings, I will have my eye land on a specific card and then I go to touch on it, but then clairaudiently I'm hearing no, 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 no. So I'm not sure if okay, this is what it is. What's coming up with that is you might have had the idea to break free, or you might have had the idea to do something different, to get out of your routine, to change up your environment, to do something that ultimately takes care of your well-being and your wellness. But there's something in the back of your mind saying no, 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 and pulling you away from the thing that will ultimately make you happier. Top card. And there's just one more in here, I hear. Top card. Perfect. We have the star. When we see the star, it's all about keeping balance in everything. You see, we have 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the land. So keeping very foundational, keeping very methodical, thinking about the choices that you want to make, while also keeping in balance with flow, in allowing for your intuition to really guide you with where it is you should be, with the next move you're meant to make. With all of the stars, whenever I see stars or the star card, I always come back to make a wish upon a star and watch it come to fruition. I'm even staring at this beautiful bee art that I have in front of me, and it has a bunch of stars around it. And then zoning into the stars, actually, let me just take this off of my wall so that you can see what I'm looking at. So there's a bunch of stars in here, and actually daisies. And I took a picture of just the most beautiful, beautiful bush of daisies today. And daisies really represent like a purification and a healing. And then our wasp, or our bee spirit animal, is really all about honing in on and tuning into our personal power and really standing strong in our beliefs and what it is we want to cultivate in our life. When it comes to pairing this with the star, I feel like right now is your opportunity to make a wish upon a star. And in that, doing so from a really proud, strong place, from a place of your own inner will, of knowing the wishes that you do make are yours for the taking. I always say that we do end up getting, these divine sparks of creative ideas or of desire because they are ours for the taking. It's like God planting the seeds inside of our awareness and then whispering in our ears, like, if you want this, if this desire actually excites you, you have everything you could possibly need inside of you to make it happen. Now, in terms of this reading being around health and just taking care of your overall health, I feel like that's exactly what it is. So far, the messages are bringing through is the health that you're focusing on right now really is all about not an area in specific, but just your overall well-being. The four pillars of your life, that mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. But the ask is to break free like Joseph did. I mean, he didn't ask to be shunned out from his siblings and sold, but in that happening, in that separation of that familiar environment, with that happening, he was able to not only help others around him, but just receive that amount of clarity he needed to be a messenger of God. I'm also picking up on you being very spiritual yourself, you being very in tune with your intuition. And your intuition is something that is just waiting to become so much more alive inside of you. So now is the time to really tune into whatever it is your heart desires. And when you start hearing the no, 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 like I was hearing when shuffling the tarot, just separating yourself from that fear and from that worry and taking that leap anyways. I'll share with you, a couple of weeks ago, I really noticed like intuitive messages coming into my awareness, and then I would question them or I would go against them. I was intuitively given an answer, and at the same time, my ego came in afterwards to kind of sway me. I'll give you an example. I was putting together like a Greek style salad. So I had cut up the cucumbers and we had two different types of tomatoes. And the first tomato I saw clairvoyantly were these little like plump, red, almost purplish tomatoes that we had. And then I questioned that and I was like, oh, are you sure? We have also that container of cherry tomatoes. And my hand went to reach for the plump purple red tomato. And then I put it down and I went to grab the cherry tomatoes. And that was me and my linear thinking, which is so interesting because we talked about finding a balance here between your linear and the flow thinking. But I went to reach for the cherry tomatoes and they just fell out of my hand and slammed down onto the ground. And that happens to me actually quite often. When I know, or when my intuition, my higher self communicates to me that something isn't right, like I'll drop it or it drops out of my hand without any explanation and falls to the ground. Sometimes this happens when, like, let's say I'm snacking on cashews. Once my body has physically had enough cashews, but my mind or my gluttony really wants to grab for more cashews, there comes a point where a cashew just drops down to the ground. And I really do take that as my angels and my higher self, like helping me navigate the difference between being like satisfied for what it is I was looking for and then going overboard just because my ego was being greedy in the moment. Next we have the Fool. Okay. This is incredible. This is amazing. Because when I was talking about the star and making all of your wishes and doing so from like this point of power, this point of inner strength, the Fool really tells you that you have everything you need to start the journey. You just need to start. This satchel that this person is carrying has all of the tools. And then on top of that, the satchel is attached to a wand. And in tarot, the wand depicts a lot of passion and just a lot of passionate feeling, a lot of invigoration, a lot of great things when it comes to starting things, or the emotional, actually, no, it's like that fiery, it's that fiery passion. But I would say some emotion goes in there too, because I can't deny like emotion coming out. We know that the emotion in tarot is depicted by the cups, but yeah, there's something about the Fool and just having all of the tools. There's all of the stars here. There's that sun, which is a lot of fiery, passionate energy. And then of course we can never like dismiss the Fool's puppy. And so there's just a lot of loyal energy surrounding you at this time. And more so, just a lot of loyalty within is going to be rebirthed, I'm seeing and hearing, once you make the decisions that you need to make in order to break free and to just follow the things that you actually want to do. Oh, I need to talk about it because I've been feeling actually a little bit stuck in my own life. It's like I know I'm meant to travel and I'm meant to be in another part of the world. Like where I am right now in Toronto, Canada is just not for me. It's a beautiful city. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. It's incredible. But astrologically speaking, it is just not the placement for me. One of the lines that goes through Toronto is my karmic line, and just learning a lot of lessons. And I learned this through the, what is it called? Astrocartography, where you're able to place in your date of birth and your place of birth and just figure out where the planetary influences are across the globe for you. And it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense just seeing how my life has unfolded. And so I know that Toronto is not the place for me. And I know that even for myself, it is absolutely time to break free and to get out of here. But also at the same time, I'm just not sure where my soul is gravitated to more right now. And I feel stuck, but I almost feel like I just need to make a decision. I just need to book a flight. It doesn't matter to where. From there, I'll know where to go next. So maybe in sharing that, you're also at a familiar place where it's like, you know, you need to make a change. You're just not sure what that change looks like. And I suppose I'm here to tell you, just making any type of change is going to help inspire the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, the next decision, really. Okay. Next, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So what this is communicating to us is once that change is made, once you do make a decision to just really hold yourself and bring more peace to your space, to your environments, to separate yourself and to really tune into your soul's guidance, like really tune in to your soul's messaging, you're going to find a whole new beginning when it comes to relating to the physical world with physical abundance. If this physical abundance is coming to materially, that would be amazing. And it's in the cards I'm hearing, but also just in terms of health, this is really going to help you feel a lot more structured, a lot more grounded, a lot more foundational just in your life in a physical way. Your own physical body, you'll notice like transformations of feeling stronger. I'm seeing and just hearing that you're going to be able to breathe more fully, more expansively. All of the physical things that you're hoping for to accelerate in or to just make happen will happen for you. And there's all these incredible stars all over your cards, from the Hermit all the way through to the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like now is the time to put down on paper, to write out what it is that you would like to manifest, what it is you would like to bring into your life. But then also while you're doing that, get clear on what it is that needs to move out of your life and you need to separate yourself from in order to find a little bit more clarity. Lastly, we have the Ace of Wands. So speaking of our wands and it bringing in just a ton of fiery passion, it's like if you are in an area of your life where it was starting to feel dull or starting to feel as though you had lost direction there for a bit, your direction is on now. It's like the green light is on. Now is the time. Now is the time to shake it up and to make those moves and to just do something different for yourself, because not only will it inspire you to continue living your life the way that you want to live it, but it will also help inspire others. I'm to remind you that you truly are a leader, and in doing what you know will serve your highest good, you are also inspiring your friends and your family members and just anyone you meet along your path to do the same. I'm seeing for yourself a lot of travel, a lot of global travel, a lot of nomadic travel. So if that's renting a van and taking a drive along the coast, if it's camping, if it's doing hostels or even couch staying with people, it's like that couch surfers link that you can look into, or staying on farms. There's just really something about you breaking free from the land that you're on to go and find a brighter place, like a warmer home, a more accepting environment, an environment that will allow you to truly shine with who you are from the inside out. I'm being brought back to Joseph and his prolific dreams and just the way that he was able to help so many people. And at the end of Joseph's story, when his siblings were then venturing away from their homeland, they ended up going to the land that Joseph was living in, not knowing how far up the mountain or how far up the pyramid he had climbed with such respect. But they went looking for help, looking for seed, like looking for wheat, because this was now the time in the drought. And actually Joseph had another prolific dream that he ended up telling the brothers, where he saw that they would be bowing down to him. There were just so many things that even though God gave the answers, the brothers had every opportunity to just listen to Joseph and to have faith in him and trust him and love him, except envy and jealousy and fear and worry overtook them, and they lashed out at Joseph and shunned him anyways, and down the road ended up having to turn to him looking for help, and sure enough, prolifically bowing down to him once they realized who he was, once they realized that this was the brother that was only speaking to what God, the messages God had given him. So, I mean, if you have any concern about separating away from your family or from a comfortable environment now, I know that no matter what it is they think, or the fear that they instill in you, or just shutting you out or shunning you away, whatever that looks like, just trust that you are being inspired to move on or to separate yourself at this time, because God has something so great and so beautiful and wonderful to give you instead. And when you find that, you will also find that your loved ones, your family members, your friends, anyone who does shun you will come around, and they will let you know how much that they appreciate you. Sometimes at the end of the day, I suppose, and this will be the last thing I say, it really doesn't matter what the people around us think or what they have to say. All that matters in our journey, in our life, is that we build this self-confidence, that we build this inner will and this inner strength within ourselves in order to find our way in alignment with our higher self and with God, because God's light and allowing for God's light to shine through all of us in that unique way is everything we need for our absolute salvation and freedom. I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting with me and being with me. Thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting below, for asking any questions or sharing any thoughts. It would always be a pleasure hearing from you. Okay, hello group number 2. If you have chosen the Page of Pentacles, we will go ahead and we'll just start here. I am going to end up reading a bit more from the tarot deck. The tarot deck I'm using is the Queer Tarot. I absolutely love the colors in this deck, and I love how the artists have created their own interpretation of the cards. And to see what messages are coming up first before we dive into the other messages that want to come up, I was just noticing the squigglies, and the squigglies were coming forward as snakes. And snake spirit tells us of a shedding of an old skin, of transformation, and really the beginning of something new. The pentacles, of course, depict the material world, the physical world. And this could be well, in terms of health, this really is speaking to our physical health, but then I'm also tuning into our mental health and emotional stability around our finances and the financial flow actually coming in and out of our lives. Now, the next thing that I was tuning into here is just this little tree down at the bottom, and it looks like there's a bunch of little honeybees inside. But it looks like a bunch of honeybees. A lot of teamwork is happening around you. A lot of inner strength is building inside of you. The bees, or the bee spirit, really communicates to our solar plexus. And our solar plexus, of course, is all about our inner strength, our discipline, our determination to see things through. The next thing that I'm tuning into here is just the darkness of the night sky behind this person and how bright and how popping everything in front of that is coming forward. All of the bright color and all of the pop of color. I feel like any darkness, any worry, any fear, around financial abundance, that mental jarring, nagging maybe, or the emotional strain, that is of the past. I'm seeing a bunch of new doors opening up for you and actually wishes that you've made coming to fruition. In terms of finances, if saving money has been a little bit tricky for you, I'm seeing an envelope system being very beneficial for you right now. If you haven't done it, go ahead and sit down and just figure out what your monthly expenses look like. What do your subscriptions look like? Go into your iPhone settings and check out all of the subscriptions that you're paying for through the App Store and really take stock. What are you using and what aren't you using? I know that when I first really started to pay attention to this, I was like, whoa, let's really tug on those reins and let's simmer down a bit. And I am constantly checking in to my App Store subscriptions, because sometimes I'll go ahead and I'll sign up for something and then there I am putting a bit more money into areas that I'm not even paying attention to. So if you haven't looked at your subscriptions in a while, I would definitely urge you to do that either now or at the end of the reading. I don't know, maybe that's the only message you need. And then also just paying attention to how it is you're spending your money, how many times you're going to your coffee shop on a weekly basis. And then also a really other fun exercise is keeping track of all of the financial gain you're making outside of a check. So if you go for a coffee and your friend buys you a coffee, or if you go on a road trip and someone offers to pay for your gas or to chip in for gas, there's all these fun ways of keeping track of finances that just allow you to become more acquainted with the flow of money, what is going out and what is coming in, and what feels really good to accept and what feels not so good to maybe pour into, right? Now is just using that time and really using your inner indicators, your inner compass, to just notice what is making you feel a little bit uncomfortable. If saying yes to going out for dinner with a friend feels super exciting and something that you're into, but then when it comes to picking a restaurant, if that's like a $4 sign restaurant in comparison to another meal that you would thoroughly enjoy for a $2 sign restaurant. Are you picking up on the visual I'm getting? You know how on Google you can go and you can Google all these different restaurants and then they tell you in dollar signs like what you can expect for your bill? The point I'm making is take into consideration what else is happening for you during that month and really tune into your intuition if it's telling you to go for that $4 sign restaurant in comparison to the $2 sign restaurant. Because in a situation like that, then maybe you're going to run into someone at that restaurant, or maybe it's just time to treat yourself a little bit more than you have been because you have been really good at saving. However, the same thing can kind of happen if your intuition is leading you to going to a $2 sign restaurant to sit down and eat because maybe, just maybe, like you have to replace a tire on your car, or you have an unexpected bill that comes in that needs spending on. I really feel like right now your intuition is really going to be speaking inside of you, like your clairsentience, the messages that you receive inside of your physical body. If that's like goosies because something feels right and it's really resonating with you, or if it's like your insides like coiling because something really just is not sitting right with you and you should be doing something different, or just like putting in a different decision. Pay attention to what is happening, because there is quite a bit of transformation going on for you in this way. I feel in your finances specifically, but it's interesting that your clairsentience, the messages that you're getting in your physical body, is the type of intuition that is really going to be sparked for you in the upcoming weeks in particular. So the next card we have is our Seven of Cups. And our Seven of Cups is telling us about all of the different options that we have in front of us. And when it comes to the Suit of Cups, the Suit of Cups really talks to us about our emotions. So this is really circling around to the message that I was just bringing forward. I spent like 9 minutes just dissecting the Page of Pentacles to begin with. But when it comes to your sense of your clairsentience, when it comes to physically feeling the messages in your body, but then also able to discern what it's emotionally providing for you as well. So tapping into your empathy, tapping into that ability you have to emotionally gather information that you could physically be feeling of course, the physical body is going to be really, really prevalent for you. I keep going to this character here, this like person in the toque and the glasses. Oh, okay. I was just hearing like internet sis. So I'm not sure if this